over their rented homes, abolishing no-fault evictions. We will help millions of commuters whose lives are made miserable by strike action, by imposing minimum service agreements. On that, I'm happy to give way. If he's opposed to helping struggling commuters, and I'm delighted to hear from him. Come on.
Earlier on, he used the slogan "People's Parliament," but the people of Scotland rejected his government. And if he really believes in the people, isn't it right the people of Scotland should have their say in a referendum?
Mr. Speaker, I think it was Nicola Sturgeon herself who said that the referendum in 2014 was a once-in-a-generation event. And I don't know about you, Mr. Speaker, but I feel that the Scottish Nationalist Party should concentrate more on delivering on the domestic priorities of the people of Scotland and rather less on breaking up our United Kingdom. We will abolish. I believe, Mr. Speaker, that if I gave way to the honourable gentleman, I would be forced to repeat the point I've just made. We will abolish the threat of no-fault evictions, and we will take forward our plans to rejuvenate and, in some cases, and in many cases, Mr. Speaker, to revolutionise the infrastructure of Britain, including Northern Powerhouse Rail. We will remedy the scandal that Leeds is the largest city in Western Europe without a light rail or a metro. We are dramatically improving local bus services, levelling up across the country to the standards set in London, at least as they were set under the previous mayor. And we are investing nearly £30 billion in our road network, including upgrading the A66 to the first continuous dual carriageway across the Pennines since the 1970s. And above all, this one nation government will strengthen our United Kingdom of England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland, the most successful union in history, and a sacred inheritance that this Parliament will never allow anyone to rip up or rend asunder. And we will stand by one of the greatest international symbols of British courage and daring, our armed forces. The men and women who sacrifice so much to safeguard our way of life. We will protect our protectors from unfair and vexatious legal claims which undermine their morale and confidence. And we will spare no effort in addressing the profound concerns of millions about the state of our criminal justice system, with the first Royal Commission for almost 30 years. And action now to impose tougher sentences on the most serious offenders. Now, if the honourable lady opposite actually wants to contest the need for tougher sentences for serious offenders, I'm happy to hear her view.
I'm very grateful to the Prime Minister for giving way. I'd like to ask him, in the Queen's speech there was mention of a sentencing bill. Will this include provision for increasing the sentence for death by dangerous driving from 14 years to life imprisonment? And if it won't, is the government open to accepting an amendment?
The honourable lady makes an important and valid point, and I have no doubt that she reflects the concerns of her constituents, and we will certainly be looking at what we can do to make sure that people who are guilty of dangerous driving do receive the penalties that they deserve. And I know that the Home Secretary will listen very carefully to what she has said. We will end the dangerous practice of early release of terrorists, but our reforms will only stand the test of time if our system of government here at Westminster meets the challenge of a new era. The steady erosion of faith in politics has poisoned our public life, and so we will establish a Constitution, Democracy and Rights Commission to recommend proposals to restore trust in our institutions and our democracy. And, as a first step, we will repeal the Fixed Term Parliament Act, so that never again can we have the ludicrous spectacle of an opposition party trying to defy the will of a majority of the House and run away from a general election. And we will do everything in our powers. We will do everything in our powers to restore devolved government in Stormont so that Northern Ireland is once again ruled by its own elected representatives. And when it comes to standing by our friends, on the Northern Ireland, of course.
I thank the Prime Minister for giving way, and of course we all look forward to devolved government being re-established in Northern Ireland fairly and equitably for all. Will the Prime Minister make good on his commitment for a golden age of all of the United Kingdom by ensuring that he makes good on the promises made for bus building in Northern Ireland and for infrastructure in Northern Ireland, so as we can all enjoy the golden age of infrastructure and build the Boris Bridge, not just the Boris bus?
Well, I'm grateful to the honourable gentleman, and I think he can certainly be assured of my commitment to ensuring that beautiful buses continue to be built in Ballymena. And I will do everything we can to make sure that that continues to be the case. As for his desire for a bridge to connect the two biggest isles in the British Isles, all I can say is a very interesting idea. I advise him to watch this space and indeed watch that space between those islands, because what he has said has not fallen on deaf ears, Mr. Speaker. And when it comes to standing by our friends, whether in Northern Ireland or elsewhere, one innovation that this Queen's speech introduces, Mr. Speaker, is that we will stop public bodies from taking it upon themselves to boycott goods from other countries to develop their own pseudo-foreign policy against countries which, with nauseating frequency, turns out to be Israel. Mr. Speaker, the scale of our programme is matched only by the sense of responsibility that falls upon us now, upon all of us now who have been elected. And again, I congratulate all new members, but a huge responsibility falls upon all of us now to redeem and to repay the trust of the British people. And I say to the people of this country, we owe you. We know it, and we will deliver. And we have now the energy, we have the ideas, we have the mandate, we have the people, and we will spare no effort to fulfil that mandate. And as we engage full tilt now in this mission of change, I am filled with invincible confidence in the ability of this nation, our United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, to renew itself in this generation as we have done so many times in the past. And after the dither, after the delay, after the deadlock, after the paralysis and the platitudes, the time has come for change and the time has come for action. And it is action that the British people will get from this gracious speech, this most gracious speech, and I commend it to the House.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I hope before...
Message to Scotland, One nation Tories. One nation Tories.
Together, just out there.
Can people now leave quietly for those who are leaving? We will try again. Ian Blackford.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. There was absolutely nothing in that